What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. If you're familiar with the show Ben 10, or maybe even if you hate it, you're probably aware that it's about a boy that turns into various alien superheroes. It's had varying success over the years, but at times I found myself wondering, even before I ever thought about creating a YouTube channel, out of all the Pokémon, what 10 would I pick to transform into? Who would I choose to be on my Pokémon Omnitrix? The first one I wanted to go for was someone who would provide a lot of strength and raw power. So I went with Golurk, who, apart from being one of my favorites, would provide me with great physical strength. Golurk has also been shown to fly, so presumably I could do that as well. But even if not, I would still retain the power over the earth, and other ground aspects, such as immunity to electricity. Golurk would likely be one of my premier transformations, and be used in many fights for his intimidating super strength and elemental power over the earth. We've got the strength, so now we need the speed. So I went with the fastest Pokemon in the game, Deoxys Speed Form. I would only have access to this one form of Deoxys, but I could use him in many instances for chasing or avoiding opponents. The added bonus of having psychic powers only makes him more valuable. It's likely that his level of psychic powers would be downplayed in order to highlight his speed, but that's fine with me. I only need a little bit of ESP to make him useful in a fight, and more than enough speed to outrun anything in my way. The next pick is an interesting one. I needed someone to be stretchable, malleable, and almost amorphous, and no Pokemon does that better than Muck. As Muck, I would not only be able to absorb physical hits, but I could also spray poisonous sludge and toxins. The fluid body form would also allow me limited shapeshifting abilities. I could likely even slide under a door if I didn't feel like melting it down instead. Muck would give me a plethora of abilities that would put pressure on any opponent. Next, I need someone I know can fly, and some firepower. So what I need is a dragon. Someone like Charizard. As I said, Charizard is quite adept at aerial maneuvers and would allow me to take on anyone in the sky. On top of that, I would gain the ability to literally breathe fire, which would be handy in many situations, as well as shooting it from the tail. Turning into a fire-breathing dragon might even deter some people from challenging me before we even have to fight. We have our fire, so now we need some water. There are so many to choose from, but I went with the ever-sturdy Crawdaunt. His hard, powerful shell would let me take lots of physical hits and wield giant, threatening pincers. Additionally, I could shoot water out of them in high-powered streams or bubbles. Mobility on land and in water was key in my selection here, and the ability to breathe underwater is always a necessity. I suppose next would be grass. I really wanted to put Sceptile here, but I couldn't let personal bias stand in the way of common sense. I ended up going with Breloom, who is extremely similar to Sceptile, except with a few added bonuses. Firstly, Breloom has increased fighting prowess, which means excellent agility and hand-to-hand combat skills. Secondly, Breloom has access to the use of spores to poison or stun the opponent, which could come in very handy to avoid a grueling fight in the first place. Transforming into Breloom would be a superb way to round out my fire-water grass core. Next, I wanted someone extremely durable, but also an absolute monster. Someone who would be able to rampage through a city if necessary. There are a couple of options, but I settled on Megaagron. Turning into a behemoth like this one would let me stand far above the crowd and not only pick up and smash objects with ease, but also be able to shrug off almost any blow against my near-impenetrable hide. I would be fairly slow and unable to be in small spaces, but the raw power I could effortlessly exercise would more than make up for it. I needed a solid electric type, and I really wanted it to be Electivire, but he would basically be filling the same role as Golurk, so instead I went with Rotom. Sure, Rotom is tiny, but he packs a powerful lightning punch. While this can be said for many electric types, the main reason I picked Rotom over them is for the ability to possess objects. Rotom's thing has always been possessing and upgrading objects. Also, a cool thing he could do would be able to jump into a light or socket and travel along the electrical current at lightning-fast speeds. Having a fun little trickster in my roster would be beyond useful, but also entertaining. For my next pick, I really wanted to do a powerful ice type, like Glalie, but it occurred to me I was missing something fairly important. I needed someone with animalistic qualities, so I went with Lycanroc. I could use the increased senses of scent and hearing to track down targets. The rock-solid fangs and claws would be able to shred through enemies, along with using the spikes around the collar. And with the ability to use Accelerock in the games, he'd be sure to be quite a speedy and agile beast. I guess I'll have to save Glalie as that elusive secret 11th form. The last pick might seem a bit strange, but I'm quite pleased with choosing Exploud. Obviously, the main draw for Exploud is his use of devastating sonic attacks. Not only would he be able to issue deafening bellows, but his ability Soundproof means he's able to absorb and redirect any other sonic attacks used against him. His natural size and bulk would make him fairly strong and able to take decent punishment. Having full control over vibrations would be a fun final addition to have on my roster. So, there you have it. Those are my top 10 Pokemon choices to be on my Omnitrix. Obviously, there are many other choices I could have made to turn into. What Pokemon would you choose to change into? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!